So let's come to our seated position that is comfortable. Doesn't have to look like mine. I prefer to elevate my hips on a block, as you'll see in this side view camera here. We'll just arrive here in this moment. You're here for class. You've carved out this time for yourself. Thank you for being here. It's always a pleasure to have all of you here. Hands can come to rest on the thighs. Find a posture that's just a little bit taller. So we're going to put in just a little bit of effort to feel stacked. Chin draws in just a little bit. We'll close the eyes. And we'll start with some breathing here. On your inhale, feel the expansion in all directions. And exhale. Inhaling. Exhaling. Breathing in, feel the belly expand first. Then the rib cage widens at the very top of the breath as we fill all the way down here first. And we can exhale. And just seeing if you can notice how the body starts to calm when we take these controlled breaths. So as we move through today's practice, we can remember this style of breathing, this conscious, deep inhale, long exhale type of breath. Some of you may even have what's called a ujjayi breath. This slight constriction of the throat like you're fogging a mirror. Right? Yes.
My volume is all the way up, but I'm still having trouble hearing you.
Are you? Thank you. Let me make sure. Are you noticing the same, Sarah? A little bit. One moment. Pluggable audio. It should be on the right microphone. Are you hearing me in the microphone here? Okay, yeah. I'll just bring it a little closer to my face. Thank you for saying something. Welcome, John Bro. Thanks for hanging out here. All right, so my mic was a little quiet. Is that a little better here? Good. Okay. I just had my mic a little too far away. All right, so we were tapping into that nice long inhale and exhale. And we'll start to incorporate a little bit of some shoulder circles going here. So the shoulder blades up, back, and down. Noticing all of the movement of the shoulder blades that happen across the back. Really taking your time with these. And it'll take a little extra action to find more range of motion out of the shoulder blades here. So I invite you to try that. Let's reverse the direction. Excellent. Now coming back to center here as we inhale, big sweep of the arms up to the sky. Exhale, arms down alongside the body there. Inhale, arms reach. And yeah, if you want to take your hands through prayer down the middle, that's fine as well. Exhale. Nice. We'll do two more there. Big inhale, reach, 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 reach. Last one here. Inhale, sweep, look up, reach. Good. Exhale this time, side bend over to the right. So the right hand drops to the floor. Left arm reaches up and over. We're inhaling here. Exhaling. Breathing in. And exhale. One more time. Inhale. Reach fingertips out. Hello, Dragon Blue. Welcome to class. This time as you exhale, stay in that side bend, but we're going to pull that left elbow like you're trying to reach back behind you. So we inhale, reach up and over. Stay in that side bend through the trunk. Exhale, bend the elbow like you're trying to scratch an itch up the middle of your back with your left elbow. We'll do 2 more there. Breathe in, reach out. Exhale. Hopefully you can see in this side view here, my elbow is trying to slide behind me. Last one. So we get this little coiling of that upper body there. Inhale, reach back to center, up to the sky, and exhale over to the left. The left hand falls to the floor. Right arm is reaching up and over you here. Just a few breaths in this static shape for a moment. Sapphire Drum, thank you for coming to class. I appreciate it. And somebody just joined in the Zoom as well. I will see who it is. It's Subu. Welcome, Subu. We're breathing in this side bend here. I like to turn my head, like shaking it no. Just slowly so that I can feel some space in the neck here. Inhaling. Kind of filling up more into the right rib cage. Exhale. Breathing here. Just dropping in for a moment while waiting on a client. Well, thank you, even just for popping in. So we'll do that little arm, that little elbow movement here, staying in your side bend through the trunk. We inhale, reach out through the fingertips. As you exhale, pull the elbow down. It's like you're trying to wrap it behind you. You can see in this side view here, it's trying to go behind me. Inhale, reach up and over. I like to aim the palm downward. And exhale, you can imagine pulling a handle towards you. Maybe that cue helps you get the movement a little bit more. Let's do 2 more there. Inhale, reach. So what we're actually doing here is we're getting the shoulder blade to upwardly and downwardly rotate here. As we exhale and drive that elbow back, the shoulder blade is actually rotating in that downward motion. Last one. Good. Inhale, reach the arms to the sky, both of them. Exhale, arms down in front of you so that we can roll onto hands and knees. From our hands and knees position, let's do a little bit of our cat-cow, and then we'll get into some of the wrists. So we inhale, feel the arching of the spine. So the chest lifts, our gaze lifts, tailbone lifts. And now exhale, we reverse the shape there. So we push down into the floor, really dome the back, try to draw that pelvis underneath you so it feels like an abdominal crunch. But we create that little turtle shell. Inhale, big arch. Exhale, tailbone draws under. We try to look underneath you, and that'll get the head to tuck. You'll get all that space that opens up. Inhale, arch. And exhale. Good. As always, let's go a little freestyle with this. You can take this side to side. You can continue with this forward and back motion. But let your body guide you here, as I like to say. You can bring the head into it. See if you can find where you might have some hidden tightness that maybe you didn't even realize until you've started to move your body around in kind of these weird combinations. Almost like dancing on your mat, you know? And that was a big unlock for me in speaking of dancing, was I just turned it into, how can I feel good in my body? How can I make this dance just an exploration of my own mobility, an expression of what my body can do? Looks like I need a priest, huh? First Class Fitness coming in with the exorcism jokes. That's right. And it may look that weird. It may look like you are possessed. But you know what? That's what my body is feeling right now. So I will go with it. Nice. So let's take our all fours position. We're going to get into the wrists a little bit here. So I'm going to take my hands, rotate the fingertips down towards me. Start with your elbows bent just a little bit here and your shoulders over your wrists. That's going to make this a less intense stretch in the wrists. Now, before you crank into the stretch by leaning your weight back, feel your fingertips grab into the floor here, like I'm trying to crumple my mat underneath my palms. Once you've got that connection there, then we can lean back. You may not be able to go as far in your forearm stretch here, but the fact that we're creating a little bit of tension and stretching is going to be a little bit better for us in the long run. It'll help to keep the wrist joint safe as well there. First Class Fitness, I am doing great. Thank you for asking. Just doing a little upper body focused yoga today. How's everything going for you? You've been streaming a little bit more lately, I've seen, with a growing following. Very nice. Upgrading your systems and everything. So I'm here. I'm playing with bending my elbows backwards as I try to reach my elbow points towards my hips. That's closing this wrist angle even more, giving me more of a stretch there. Nice. Let's straighten the arms. We're unwinding the wrists. Now we're going to flip the palms. We're going to the back of the palm with flat blade hands all the way down to the ground. And again, we start with bent elbows. Try to make the whole back of the hand from fingertips to the heel of the palm flush with the floor. Push the weight away, or push your body away from the floor. You may not be able to get to straight elbows, and that's okay. This is an extreme position of the wrists, but it is important to balance out both sides of the wrist joint, or any joint, really. So in this one, the opposite is true. To make this more intense, we lean forward. To make this less intense, we lean back. All right? And that just takes weight off of the wrist joint when we sit back into our hips. You've been streaming every day. Nice. Returning the camera you bought. Yeah, webcams are blurry at a distance. Oh, no, worse than your phone. Yeah, you can't have that. Excellent. So let's sit back onto our heels. We'll give those wrists a little bit of a shake out there. And one final piece to kind of wrap this all up into a bow. I like to go closed fists down into the floor just to feel a closed, packed position. And this you can feel, you should be able to feel a little more secure, a little stronger in this joint because we've closed that position. You may even try stepping into a plank. Yeah, I've got a Logitech C922. It's really nice. I'm not using it right now, but I have it as an option. So I like doing this kind of fist position here at the end, especially after this one here, because I feel that after you've done a deep stretch like that and then you try to do all of this kind of load bearing, it just feels a little floppy. So I like to do that last fist down into the ground to really lock everything together into the wrists. So let's come into our downward facing dog. We're curling the toes under, really spread those fingers, send the hips to the air. Stream is frozen for you. Is it frozen for anybody else on Zoom or Twitch? Hopefully not. Uh-oh. Stream is frozen. Well, hang in there. See if it, give it a minute or two. Let me know if it is still frozen from there, and I will see what the issue is. So we're using that nice breath, deep breathing here. Good. We're going to inhale, shift forward to a plank. And exhale, shift back into that downward facing dog. For those of you on Zoom, is my video frozen? No, it's not frozen. Okay. Interesting. I wonder why. It's only on Twitch. Hopefully that will resolve in a moment. So we're going to floss that movement a couple of times. We inhale forward to your plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. A couple more of those, breathing in, letting your body roll forward. Exhale. Last one. Okay, good. It's working now. Exhale. Sorry for that little glitch. I don't know what happened. Inhale forward to your plank. Exhale, lower your knees, then chest and chin. Hips stay up into the air. We're going to inhale forward into our Cobra. Let's hold here. So I'll untuck my toes. Belly is flat, but my chest is lifted. Initially here, I'm using my hands to help the lift of the chest. Draw your chin downward. Slide the head back. And as I did that, I feel far less strain in my neck, and the sensation of this movement went down into more of my middle back. And see if you can feel the difference there. If we're looking straight forward, we're really crunching into the back of the neck there. But as you draw your chin downward, slide the back of the head towards the ceiling, totally different sensation here. And we're holding, we're feeling the muscles of the back body. To make this more challenging, elbows squeeze into the midline here like you're trying to vice grip your rib cage with your elbows. To go a step further here, perhaps your hands barely hover off of the ground. So now I'm maintaining the lift of the rib cage without using my hands to help. Thank you, Dragon Blue, for taking care of First Class Fitness with his tech needs. I'm not going to go into all my tech stuff right now, but if you hang out after class, we can talk tech equipment. Let's rest the hands on the floor, the forehead on the ground, push back to a child's pose. So the knees are wide, feet come together to touch, arms reaching out wide. And breathe. Last breath. Good. We inhale, come forward onto all fours. Walk just the hands forward. We're coming into our puppy pose. So I'm going to scooch back just a little bit here. I'm going to keep my thighs vertical here. Okay, so it's like child's pose with your hips a little bit higher. But with the hips higher, and then we drop the chest, now we get a little bit more extension out of the spine, right? So I've got active arms here. They're reaching out in front of me, so I'm trying to reach my fingertips as long as they can, and I've got a little bit of downward pressure into the floor, like I'm trying to push down through my carpet into the floor. And I'm looking forward here, aiming to get my chest a little closer to the ground here. It's not easy. This is some pretty intense spinal extension, right? That arching position of the back. I'm going to push a little bit harder into my forearm and see if I can dome the upper back. Another cue that might help is as you push down in your palms, your forehead comes up, your chest comes up. Try to peek underneath your body here. And then on your next inhale, look up. Try to flatten that chest. So we're just doing that cat-cow through more of the upper part of the back. So we exhale, push down through the palms. Forearms and elbows lift up enough that you can
here underneath your body. And inhale. This is going to feel a little more challenging than your normal cat-cow. Let's do 2 more. Exhale. Push down. Woo. You might feel some stuff stretching out and working right under your armpits there, the lats and the serratus anterior. 1 more here. Excellent. So we're going to take those hands, walk yourself back up to your all fours position, and let's return to our downward facing dog and see if there's any changes there. I tuck my toes, come up and back, and breathe. See what you notice here. Is there a change in your position? Maybe you're just feeling fatigue. That's worth noting. But are you able to get your chest through anymore? Perhaps. One more breath in. Good. Exhale. We're going to make our way to the top of the mat. If you know how to hop to get there, you can. I'm going to just tiptoe my feet to the top of the mat. And just hang out in this forward fold. You may prefer to grab opposite elbows to really feel the weight of the upper body drawing you into this fold. Yogi's choice, of course. I like to keep a little bit of a soft bend in my knees, and that just sends the sensation of stretch more to the middle of the hamstring. If you have straightened legs, you may feel that bias just behind the kneecap there. We have 2 different muscle groups that are crossing that knee joint. So if we just invite a little bit of a knee bend, now we get that hamstring stretch a little bit more isolated into the hamstrings. Inhale. Release the hands and bring them to the shins. Lift halfway up. Exhale into your forward fold. We'll inhale to come all the way up. We swing the arms, reach them to the sky. And exhale, arms alongside the body there. Very nice. Inhale, reaching up, finding the longest body position you can. Exhale, forward fold. Use the inhale. Hands to shins, come halfway up. Exhale, we'll bend the knees to plant hands. We're going to step both feet back. We're in our plank. If you know a full vinyasa, you can do that. Otherwise, knees first, then chest and chin drop right between the hands. Inhale, slide it forward and up. I'm demonstrating Cobra, but if you're doing a full vinyasa, this would be upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, raise that right leg up into the air. And I just want to do a couple of calf raises off of that back leg. So we inhale, come way up onto the left toes. Exhale, that heel drops down. Inhale. Exhale, heel heavy. Breathe it in, get high. Exhale, heel low. Last time here. Good. Lower that right leg down. We're going to inhale forward to our plank. Bring that right hand to the center of your mats. We're going to roll the hips so that we're on the outer edge of that right foot. And we're going to open to this side plank here. If you need some stability, notice I just took my top foot and stepped it off behind my bottom foot. Now I just have a little bit of a wider base here. See if you can screw your upper arm into its socket so that we feel a little more support out of these lats, not just the shoulder. 2 more breaths. Breathe it in. And exhale. Good. Let's bring that left hand to the floor. You can cycle through a vinyasa, or you can just meet in our downward facing dog. A lot of upper body here. We're going to do the same thing on the left side, and then we'll get off the arms here a little bit. Raise that left leg into the air. So a couple of calf raises. We inhale, come way up onto the right toes. Exhale, heel lowers down. Inhale. Exhale. Breathe in here. Last one. Left leg lowering down. We inhale forward to your plank. Bring the left hand to the center of your mat. I'm going to rotate to the outer edge of that left foot. I'm in my side plank on the left side. Now, if you look at this side view camera, I'm going to come down for just a second. I want to rotate the pit of my, the point of my elbow down towards my hip. That creates an external rotation, which gets us a little bit more support into the shoulder girdle. Let's breathe here. One more breath. Nice. Exhale. Bring that right hand down. Let's lower the knees. Sit back into your child's pose. All right, let me take a sip of water here. We're going passive here, but we're about to do a little bit of active shoulder work out of this child's pose shape. AKA, just enjoy it while you can before we ramp up the intensity here. Good. So from your child's pose, we're going to turn thumbs upward so that the palms are facing each other. And you'll notice if you look at my shot here, my elbows are not in contact with the floor. If we're taking this really mellow, the arms aren't really inactive. They're overhead, but elbows are kind of pointed outward. Forearms are flush on the floor. So I'm going to reach the fingertips out, which creates a little, I have to work a little bit harder, but now my forearms are off the ground. So it's just my outer edges of my hands that are in contact here. Forehead is still resting on the floor here. And we're going to take turns lifting and holding one arm off the ground at a time. Okay, so just want to prepare you for what is to come. You don't even have to watch the screen. I'm going to do my best to cue you through it verbally. So fingertips are reaching out. Arms are very, very straight here. Nothing in contact, just the outer edge of the palm. So we're going to slowly ramp up our intensity as we try to lift that right hand off the ground. And if we're in good position here, it should only be a couple of millimeters. So we're lifting and we're holding here, breathing. Keep trying to reach those fingertips forward. Feel the work in the shoulders, in the upper back. 2 breaths. Good. Exhale, lower that down. We're going to do the same thing on that left side. Oh, you guys are still talking cameras in that Twitch chat. Go ahead, talk amongst yourselves. I'll give you my input after class. All right, so we've got that left arm is the main attraction right now. We're going to lift that left thumb up off the ground. We've specifically put you in a position where this overhead lift is very challenging. So if it's feeling like a lot of work for barely lifting off the ground, you are doing it right. We're breathing. Last breath cycle here. I am shaking right now. And exhale. Now we can rest. So I'm going to notice I've just let my arms bend here. Forearms are just down on the ground. You may even want to do an overhead position, so I'm going to bring my elbows a little closer to each other. bring my hands into prayer, and just a little bit of a different variation on your child's pose. A little bit more of a tricep stretch. The closer those prayer hands get to the back of the neck. Good. Let's do a little bit of twist out of this shape here. So we're going to come up just slightly. Let's thread that right arm across the body here. I'm looking to land my elbow on the ground like I'm serving somebody a platter. Okay, so my upper body has rotated here. So Laura, I know it's going to be tempting to just go into your normal twist here. We're going to do a little bit of a different thing. So I've got my elbow planted, my right elbow kind of in front of my left knee. And I've got my palm facing up. I'm going to take my left hand, go palm to palm, sup. Ooh, I like that. That sup with the hand in there. So I'm using my right hand to press downward into my palm to leverage me deeper into the twist. Okay, and I feel some squeezing and some stretching coming across the middle of the back in addition to this twist. Nice. Dragon Blue, I want to see that in a moment when I can get a closer look, but I think you added a thumbs up to the Josephine emote. I love it. So once you're kind of locked into this leverage twist, there's downward pressure into the floor via your right elbow. Let that be pinned. That's going to be our anchor. Try to pull your right shoulder blade away from the right elbow. So we create a little bit more space, a little bit more of a stretch across the upper right back. I want to see what you said there. Yeah, Dragon, I like that. I like that little added finger point. I might have to take that from you. All right, let's come out of this. We're going to go into the other side, doing the same thing, okay? So from our kneeling position, and if your knees are feeling a little grumpy in this shape, you can always come out of it. I'm going to take my left elbow and aim it just in front of my right knee. I've got my palm up towards the sky. Hopefully you can see it in this side cam here. I'm going to take my left hand and push myself into a little bit of a deeper rotation. Heck yeah. So you get this leverage of that downward pressure from the top arm. Let your left elbow be an anchor here. It's not going to slide, but you're going to try to pull your left shoulder away from the left elbow. Hopefully we feel a little bit of an added spread of the shoulder blades across the back. Wonderful. Good. Let's come back to center here. We're going to come forward onto our bellies. I want to work a little bit of external rotation. So with our face down on the ground, we're going to bring our arms into goalpost arms or cactus arms. All right. Same idea with the palms. They're facing each other with the thumbs up. And try to bring your elbows so that they are in the line of your shoulders. All right. Forehead is going to be down on the mat. I'm going to lift my head up just so that my cues are more clear. But you can keep your forehead and your chest down on the ground. Our aim here is to pick up just the fist and the forearm off of the ground, not the elbows. It's like we're throwing a toggle switch. So you can see in this image here, just the action that I'm going to go for. I'm doing it in quick repetition so that you can see what's happening. But we're going to lift that arm, both of them, and hold it off the ground. Okay? Does that make sense there? I see you looking, Laura. You good? Yes, exactly. Yeah, she gave me a thumbs up in that action. I like that. So forehead down on the ground. We're going to brace through our belly and our butt. Now we're going to lift those thumbs off of the ground. This is external rotation. Doing the best that you can. If there's pain when you do this, just back out of it a little bit. If there continues to be pain or discomfort, please discontinue. And just do the best that you can. So if we're doing this well, I feel this not only in the backs of my shoulders, but this is coming into the mid-back as well. Just one more breath in. And exhale. We're going to do that one more time, okay? So, I like to roll my shoulders in between, just get a little bit of movement through the shoulder blades. But let's try that one more time. Check on your elbows. Make sure they're not down by your low ribs, but they are actually in line with the shoulders. Here we go. Press downward into the elbows, but we're lifting up via our thumbs. So the thumbs get a little closer to the ceiling. That's our external rotation through the shoulder. Maybe it's at end range for some of you. And we're breathing. 2 more. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Very nice. Let's take those arms that were out beside you. Let's bring them down alongside your body and interlace behind the back. Okay? Okay? Okay. I'm interlacing. I've got something down at the edge of my mat that I keep kicking. I don't know what it is. So with this interlace, I am pressing my knuckles towards my heel. And that action is going to both broaden the chest and, if I go a little further, begins to lift the chest off of the ground. Okay? If you want a little bit more, that fist can come away. If this is just too much in the shoulders for your hands to be bound, feel free to just let go of the arms there. Keep the head and the chest lifted. Good. Breathing, seeing if you can eke out any more lift out of that chest, feeling the upper back muscles. Breathe it in here. Breathe it out. One more time. And exhale. Very nice. Let's rest the forehead. Actually, turn your cheek. Let's rest one cheek down on the ground there. I like it. Good. Let's come back to center here. I'm going to have you grab or bend both of your knees, and we're going to grab just pulling the heels into the butt. We're not going into full bow pose right now. I just want you to feel this quad stretch. That might be enough for you. If you want a little bit more out of this stretch, again, we're not going to do bow pose yet, but if you want to feel more of the stretch out of your quads, it's a small movement through the pelvis. So firm your butt, try to drive your hips down into the floor while you keep your heels pulled to your butt, and that should add some intensity to the stretch. So as I did that, as I squeezed my butt to drive my hips down into the floor, I feel more intensity that pulls across the front of my thighs into the quad. Very good. Wonderful. And this is just prepping us for our little kind of frog pose that's coming up. So let's let go. Rip. Oh. We're going to bring our forearms underneath us into Sphinx Pose. Elbows are shoulder width apart here, and they're directly under the shoulders. That's what I wanted to say, shoulders. Now, it's really easy to sink into and just sulk into the shoulder blades here, but we're actively pushing down into the forearms. Boom. Okay? And as I drag my elbows backwards, they won't move, but that action of trying to pull the elbows backwards, light up the lats a little bit, these muscles right under the armpits, and it gives us a little bit more of a lift out of the chest. And again, just like when we did earlier, if we're looking up, we can feel this cranking into the neck. So draw the chin down, slide the back of the head backwards. Okay. If we think of the Sphinx statues in Egypt, they're not head up to the sky. It's got, it's kind of this forward head position that's sliding back. Excuse me. Got some weird hiccups going on right now. Excellent. I'm going to demo on the left side first so that you can see what's happening. We're going to take that right hand, slide it in 90 degrees. So my elbow stays exactly where it is. I think it might be cut off on that side view, but I've created a 90-degree form so you can see right there. Okay? Now, I'm looking over my left shoulder, bending that left leg. Okay, so you can start to reach back with just your left hand and get a little bit more of this pull happening. So I'm grabbing onto my left ankle here. Now, if you've got open back and open thigh here, we can go a little bit deeper into this frog variation. And what that requires is that there's a lot of work to pull the heel to the butt. Okay? But there becomes a point where the top of my foot starts to become flat with the floor. And so if I can rotate, if I can get my elbow higher and turn my fingers forward, now I've got this downward pressure, which is a lot easier for me to maintain. I'm getting a quad stretch out of the leg. I'm getting a shoulder stretch out of my left arm here. And so to get there is a little tough, but once you're there, it's much easier. So there's strain to pull that heel in. It's a stretch to get that elbow over, but once it's stacked, this is so much easier for me. And it may be in your body as well. But if you can't quite get to this shape where the fingertips and the toe tips are in the same line, it's totally fine. And I keep pushing myself away from the floor with that right forearm. It's not a walk in the park here. Good. Now we're disconnecting from that back ankle, letting that go, and let's just bring our forehead down, and we'll go to the other cheek. Maybe it's your microphone cheek. I can't do it. I'm just going to go chin forward because I'm just laying on my mic when I do this. You might even shake your hips side to side. We're going to do the other side here. So you'll be able to see it from the back side. Maybe it'll help. Maybe it will be more confusing. Let's come into our Sphinx. We're going to set up just the same. This time that left hand rotates in 90. And then as we push away there, we're looking over the right shoulder, bending the right leg, and using that right arm to connect to the right ankle. Okay? And maybe this is it. You could just stay here. This is nice because we're getting some work through the left shoulder. We're getting an extension through the spine, right? That lifted chest. And we get this quad stretch. If you are somebody where that heel can come close to the butt and then the top of the foot is becoming more horizontal, all I'm doing is I'm bringing my grip to the top of the foot. Right now my toe tips and fingertips are pointing in the opposite direction. But as I rotate my elbow upwards and spin my fingers forward, now I can actually come up over the top of my foot. And this is giving me a really nice quad stretch in the front of the leg. And the way that my right arm is oriented, like the bottom of a dip, is giving me a really nice stretch across the shoulders. Let's see. Okay, yeah, I wasn't sure how this would look on the back side, but I think you can still see what's happening here without me needing to turn my position. So I can tell I'm getting a little lazy and I'm sinking into my left shoulder. So we want to continue to push that floor away. Good. Okay. So let's disconnect the hand from the leg there, come back to center, and let's go back into our child's pose. That'll feel nice. I was thinking of going into bow. Maybe we'll do that in just a moment, but I want to give us a little break from spinal extension here. In fact, let's go through a different variation of child's pose. Here, I'll just offer this up as an option if you would like. So extended child's pose is legs wide, feet together, arms reach forward. Some of you may prefer to counter our extension, bringing knees together, toes together. Sit back on the heels, but the arms are down alongside us. Forehead is still at rest on the ground. And with the arms alongside us, it allows the shoulders to just droop downward. So where we were arching the upper back a lot, now we get those segments to round forward a little bit. And if you are in this more traditional child's pose, Balasana, and you want to try for a little bit of a rabbit pose, that gives us even more rounding of the spine here. Feel free to try this one. We can tuck the toes underneath. I take my hands that are alongside my body, and I grab for the heels. Okay? So now we're connected to the end of our body. Maintaining that connection to the feet, I'm rolling over the top of my head and trying to shift to the top of the mat. Now, the arms pulling on the heels will prevent that. But as I tuck my chin and try to roll onto the top of my head and then to the back of my head, you can see that my upper back gets this nice rounding position. Adding to this stretch is the fact that we are connected to the heel, and we get this added pull of the shoulder blades across the upper back there. Good, good, good. Let's come out of that here. Let's do bow. So let's shift forward onto our bellies again. I just wanted to give you a second out. You know what? Even before we go down there, let's just move the hips a little bit. So you can do a little cat-cow just out of the pelvis here. Notice I'm not incorporating the whole spine. I'm just tipping my hips forward and back. Maybe you're able to roll through the hip. If you were a belly dancer in a past life, or in this life perhaps, you can show off some of your skills. Good. All right, let's get into our bow pose. So we come down to our back, to our belly. Arms down alongside the body. We're bending both knees so that we can connect to the ankles. Now, we've been here in class today. We just focused on the quad stretch here. So to go into our bow, we'll take it piece by piece. If there's any pain or discomfort along the way, just stay at that variation. You don't need to go any further. There are no extra points by doing a more advanced option. So do what feels good in your body. And that's what this is all about. So with this connection to the ankles, we start by lifting the chest as much as you can. If there is no pain or discomfort anywhere in your back here, other than maybe muscular fatigue, then we start to lift the thighs up off of the ground. Okay? I'm not as deep into my back bend yet. What we'll do to add more depth here is that ankle-hand connection here gets pulled to the sky. so that both my chest and my thighs lift. It's not just thighs flat. I'm just lifting my chest. I want to get both segments, top and bottom, to lift. We're breathing here. 2 more breaths. Very nice. Let us exhale. Oh, very good. We'll do one more of those, and then we'll do some forward-facing spinal twists here. Shall we? So one more of those bow poses. What can feel nice in between is to bend both knees. And like you're just doing a jive motion with your hands, I'm going to bring my... Yeah, you can see it. I'm rotating my legs out and in, one shin in front of the other, and then switching. And it just feels really nice across the back there. Okay, second and last round here of these bow poses. Bending both knees, we connect to the ankles. Head and chest start the lift. Check in with your body. Everything feels good. Awesome. Thighs can lift up. So we've got this pressure of the legs kicking into the hands here. If you want to go further than this, imagine there are hooks on your ankles and your wrists pulling you to the sky. That's going to lift both segments, front and back, giving you a deeper back bend. Breathing here. Last breath. And exhale. Very, very nice. However you need to relax here, I'm just going to shimmy my hips side to side to release. Excellent. All right, let's do a little bit of a spinal twist here from the belly. Reach the arms out to a T. We're bending just the right leg here, kicking it up and over. Okay, so we end up rolling onto our left side here. And you can see in the camera that the weight, I'm pinning this bottom arm, this left arm, it's giving me a little bit of a chest stretch. If you have enough room, maybe you flatten your foot to the ground there. A couple of options from this. The first one being you might flatten your foot to the ground there. If you want more of a chest stretch, that right arm reaches up and over. You try to reach back of the palm to back of the palm there. You could even go for a little bind here, kind of a wheel, revisiting that wheel shape. I'm connecting to the ankle. And this is giving me kind of some unique neck stretches. So I'm moving my head around just to explore what feels good there. Nice. Let's come out of this nice and slow. Good. Let's go to the other side here. So the left knee bends. Lift the thigh up. Send that left foot up towards the right hand. I kind of hit my bed here, so I hit my natural stopping point. There is a couple of things that we can do. You can flatten that foot if that feels okay. Left arm can reach up and over. Maybe you want to make the connection to the ankle there. Entirely up to you. And again, because my arm is bound and I've got this different position, I'm going to move my head and my neck because I'm getting these really nice, unique stretches across the neck. No need to whip your head around, just exploring the different positions. Positions. Good. Let's unwind out of there. One more visit to our child's pose. We did a lot of extension today. I'm going to go with more traditional because my low back feels like I need a little more of that rounding. So I'm bringing feet together. Forehead down, arms alongside the body. We'll make our way to lying on our backs. However you get there, nice and slow. Grab myself a little bit of water here. And we'll draw the knees up into the chest. We can circle those hips around. This should feel nice. This, for me, feels really good in the low back, where I started to feel a little bit of tightness from our back bending there. Maybe like Happy Baby to release some of that tightness through the back. I'm demoing that here. I've grabbed for the outer edges of the feet. Not required, but and this is going to be a very satisfying Shavasana here today. So let's prepare for that. We're extending the legs out long. Arms are alongside the body. If there's any poses or shapes that you need in your body. Subu, thank you so much. I'll talk to you soon. Thank you for coming. If there's any other pose you need to do here before Shavasana, feel free. But if you're ready to settle, we can have legs out long, arms alongside the body here. Feeling the ground accepting us, accepting all of our weight. Eyes can close. And we let go of that breath. We're just seeing if there's any other place of the body that we can allow to soften. And as you settle, you may recognize your body twitching in little areas.
your breath beginning to deepen here. I bring movement into the fingers and toes. Into the wrists and the ankles. And taking the arms up overhead. Reach the body long. Inhale. Open the mouth, stick the tongue out. One more time. Big inhale with a big stretch. And we'll draw the knees into the chest, which makes it a little easier to roll the body to one side. You can use your top arm to help push you up to seated. We're going to finish today's class with 3 rounds of Ohm. You can join in or you can just enjoy the sounds. So the Ohm Chant is common at the beginning and the end of yoga practices. It's just a simple chant. Some say it's the sound of the universe. For me, I like to think about it as just one final piece of movement in today's class. We can feel the vibrations that travel through our body as we make, there are kind of 3 parts of the sound. So kind of an AU, an OO, and then an M, right? So a hum. But as we change the shape of the sound, the vibration here in the chest, ooh is here a little bit more in the throat, and then as we close the mouth, we've got that vibration that's happening through the head and the sinus cavities, all those resonant chambers that we have within the body. If you have some singing experience, you may be familiar with resonant chambers. So I've got my Shruti box here. Just make sure. This is going to give us our tone for today's chant. I wish you folks could hear this a little bit better. And in person, it's very beautiful. It matches the timbre of the human voice really well. I think you can hear it just a little bit. So feel free to join me, or you can just enjoy the sound. We're going to do 3 rounds of Ohm with 1 prep breath before we start. So hands can be on your lap, hands can be in prayer. It may feel nice to even close your eyes here. So we'll take an in breath. Exhale, breathing all of your air out. Big inhale for our first Ohm. Thank you all for coming and joining me. Some of you taking class here over Zoom and on Twitch, but if you were just following along and just watching, thank you so much. I still appreciate you being here. Namaste.